What happened?
Oh, well, it's really quite funny. I was in bed sleeping at 2 o'clock this morning. My wife comes in and says, someone ran into the shop. And I said, oh, what? So I jumped out of bed and all I had was my undies on, and I've walked out the front and I've seen the car smashed, and I've seen the bloke walking back to the car. And so I've walked outside and I said, oh, what are you doing, mate? Like, you can't be leaving the scene. And he goes, don't be a hero, mate. And I said, I'm not trying to be a hero, but the police are coming. And he just decided he'd scoot up the road, and I just said, nah, it's not going on like that, mate. So I jumped in my car and I started chasing him up the road, and then he went down a side street, and then the police were coming, and I flashed them and sent them off in the direction of him. But, mate, all I had was me jocks on. I was chasing him up the street, and I'm just like, mate.
Do you feel like a hero?
Oh, not really. It's just something you got to do for the community, mate. It's like you look after your mates, and your mates will always look after you.
TBTL.
Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is?
It's Friday. Friday. Gotta get down on Friday. Everybody's looking forward to the weekend.
In this business of show, you have to have the heart of an angel and the hide of an elephant.
You were in business with a couple glue-sniffing squishheads.
Why don't I tell you all about it over a hot, steaming mug of beer and a cup of cold corn?
I'm such a sucker for content.
All right, hello, good morning, and welcome everyone to a Friday edition of TBTL, the show that just might be too beautiful to live.
It is political correctness run amok.
My name's Luke Burbank. I'm your host.
Scatman's World.
Coming to you from the Madrona Hills studio, perched high above the mighty Columbia, where it is kind of a cloudy, foggy, cloud fog day.
Cloud fog.
But that's not going to stop us from bringing you episode 4738 in a collector series.
Let the fun begin.
We've been talking about baseball a lot on the show, and youth baseball. And now a youth umpire in Idaho has gone, as they say, viral for his very calm handling of a kind of out-of-hand coach.
That's the voice of the youth of America.
And I was literally thinking about this videotape when I was at the Sluggers game on Wednesday, because there was a couple of times where I maybe didn't agree with a pitch or something, and I was tempted to say something out loud, but I did not want to end up in my own sort of video of this kind of stuff. Anyway, we'll talk about that. We'll also say hello to the longest-running Cobra of the show.
Oh, my God. He admitted it.
Maybe best known for his depictions of the tall ships. We'll talk about big weekend plans. I know his already, they involve him hitting the club. He's Andrew Walsh, and he's joining me right now. Good morning, my friend.
Hey, good morning, Luke. You know that I'm excited to play something for you because I was telling you this before the show. I was doing some last-minute voicemail checkings. Got a big backlog still of TBTL listener voicemails that we're going through, and I found one from about a month ago from a listener who left me a voicemail that I thought, oh, this is a good one. I want to maybe even start the show with this because I like the fact that it's got an audio element. It's almost not performative, but it's almost like a documentary in some ways. And I was all ready to play it for you, and then I was going to close out of the Google Voice screen, and I noticed, wait, this person left a follow-up message as well. And I'm really glad I noticed the follow-up message before I played the first one for you. Would you allow me to break format here and take a listen to this?
It's a Friday. We can do whatever we want.
Now, I should say one other thing about this, a little production note here from your boy, Andrew. This is Emily in Kirkland leaving this voicemail. This was actually two that I had to sort of combine together, so you don't hear her say her name, but she called back. So she actually left a total of 3 voicemails, and this what you're about to hear is a combination of the first two. It's really wonderful.
My God, Luke and Andrew, I just hit the mother load. I am staying at a super fancy resort in Lihue, not sure if that's the right pronunciation, Kauai, for a work conference. And I'm on some very high floor, gigantic sliding glass doors looking out onto this crazy huge pool and the ocean. And I thought there was a crack in the door. I looked more closely. Unpeeled plastic. Both sides of the sliding glass panel window thingies. Oh, I'm going to have a great time. For a second, I thought it was going to be a dead end, but I finally got a grip on the corner of this thing, and I just wanted you guys to hear it. You're on speakerphone. Let's see how this goes.
Oh, baby. I hope that was supposed to come off, by the way.
Oh, also, I had a few small beers. More plastic. It didn't come off nicely in one piece, but oh boy, this is a big one. Have a great day, boys. Bye.
So that's great.
First of all, I thought hitting the motherlode was just the part about
me too.
Your work paying for a really nice room in a fancy resort in Hawaii. Before you
say
enough of a voicemail.
And I want to play the second voicemail here before you weigh in too much, because this is a shorty. This is a short little follow-up that seems critical to the story.
Fuck. I think that was Tint. You guys gotta delete those last two messages.
I had a feeling
it was the tint. It was the
That's why it
tint
was
for
hard.
the sun.
That's why it was hard to get off.
I shouldn't have said her name. I shouldn't have said her name. Should I beep it out? I don't think the cops are coming.
Actually, also beep out my name at the top of the show.
I'm gonna beep out all of our names. I don't even. I feel this. I feel the stank of this on me, Luke. My heart stopped when I said, "Wait, there's another voicemail from this person." I had you take your headphones off. I'm like, I don't know what this follow up is. Take off your headphones. I want to see. I think maybe I had a feeling because I saw the Google preview of the transcript or whatever, and listening to the message. Listen to the first message again with the information I had in my head after the second one. Actually, my heart started racing listening to that being ripped off. The first time I heard it, I was just delighted. I'm like, oh my God, what great audio, what great production. This person should be, an associate producer on our show. Maybe gets that credit today.
I hear she's looking for a job.
Not just a job, but also maybe a place to hide. If I understand correctly. Now, keep in mind that
this is a good place. If you want to hide from the public, this podcast is actually a very, very effective place.
Truer words never spoken. Now, I am looking to see, and this is sort of on the fly, that was a month ago. Are there any voice messages from this area code that came in the following weeks? I'm not seeing anything. There's one from the Correctional Institute in
that sounds like
the Big Island.
Lahui.
I don't know. Yeah, let's see here.
You have a call from
Paradise. I don't see any more. So I think our girl might be in lockup or something. I don't know.
I had a really bad feeling about that upon first listening, because I was thinking like, okay, first of all, whoever installed those sliding glass doors, like the technicians, whoever that was, if there was some sort of film on there that was going to in any way dull the experience, my guess would be that as a matter of course, they just pull that off. Like I've never seen, for all of the plastic that I've removed from microwave doors and appliances and things like that, I've never seen like a full sliding glass door covered in it. So that was already a little bit of an alarm bell. And then I'm kind of surprised that she could even get the corner of the tint to come on.
It sounds like she had to work on it a little bit.
Yeah, right?
I'm like literally kind of upset. Not at our listener, of course, but like I actually feel I need closure on the story, friendo. You got to get back to us, because I right now am living in a space. Now, I understand this happened a month ago, but I am right now in the present living in a space where we together, you and me and Luke, are sitting around in this resort room surrounded by this tint that we just peeled off of the window and are now just realizing a few small beers in that we just vandalized the shit out of this room.
I've had a few.
A few what?
A few small beers.
What are we going to do? Are we just going to try to hide this? Are we going to try to get the plastic out of the room in our suitcases and throw it away in a dumpster somewhere on the other side of the island? What are we doing? What's our plan?
Listen, the ultimate Burbank move here would be to have a few small beers, to peel the tint off, to then notice that like there's too much sunlight coming in the room, then call the front desk and try to get a room change because these windows are not tinted enough.
Complain. That is actually a power move. You
Put the system on
complain that somebody has removed the tint from the windows.
Somebody
but what
cleared
are you
out
doing,
the mini
what
bar
are you doing
and
with
pulled the tint off before I got here.
and stole the robe. What are you doing with the tint, though, before you make this complaint? You got to get out of the room.
You're not throwing it in the garbage can of the room.
No,
It's
you got to
gotta
get it
be
out of
the
there.
room.
You got to escort
Do you know that
it
if I do consume something from the mini bar, whether it's alcohol, which is pretty rare because I always think it's going to be so expensive, but I have been known to like just get a hankering for some peanut M&Ms or whatever it is. I never throw out the packaging for whatever I've consumed from the mini bar in the room because my hope is maybe they won't notice that I ate it. I'm not going to lie to them. I'm not going to say someone else ate it, but I am going to I'm going to try to increase the chances that maybe their accounting system is not as detail oriented as it could be. Like I feel like if let's just say like I kill a couple of bags of sea salt potato chips and a thing of peanut butter M&Ms and a Diet Coke, as they call it, a fridge cigarette, a Diet Coke. I'm not throwing all of that stuff in the garbage can next to the mini bar. I am not leaving the evidence that close to where the crime happened. I'm gonna throw it away in a garbage can in the elevator bank or something. So that'd be my first advice to this listener who's already done whatever it is she did or didn't do. But if it was me, that tint is maybe not even in the hotel at that point. That tint might get thrown out at a different hotel.
Yeah, absolutely. Or you know what you could do, Luke? Another option would be instead of trying to secret out the M&M wrapper, come with like 100 empty M&M wrappers and just flood the zone.
Exactly.
Throw them
Overwhelm
all
the
away.
circuitry.
Just throw them all away in your room, and they'll just be like, "Where did this guy get?"
Create a whole different problem.
Where did he get all these M&Ms? Now, moving on from that story very briefly here, I wanted to tell you about a coincidence. This is originally what I wanted to mention at the top of today's show. We don't have to spend tons of time on this. It's just a little bit of trivia that blew me away, especially you, who I just can't believe you don't believe in a God. Yesterday on the show, we were talking about your wonderful experience watching the final game of the TBTL Junior Sluggers postseason on Wednesday, and you were talking about how our pitcher, or one of our pitchers on Wednesday, kind of reminded you of the kid from Dazed and Confused, sort of tall with shoulder length, straight hair, I believe.
Tall, rangy kid with long hair coming out from the baseball cap.
And so I didn't remember that at the top of I didn't remember that when you mentioned it. I thought that there were some football field scenes in that movie. I'd forgotten about the baseball scene at the very beginning, and so I was delighted to be reminded of it. And in fact, it's such a beautiful shot as I watched it during the show that I used it as a photo for our show pick yesterday. It's that kid standing on the mound with his long hair, not the junior slugger, the shot from Dazed and Confused.
Crosby.
So not Crosby. So anyway, the reason I bring it up is later in the day, I saw somebody posting something about the anniversary of Dazed and Confused. Not the pardon me, I'm really Porky Pigging it today in more ways than one. Not the anniversary of when the movie came out, but the anniversary of the year that the movie takes place, which of course was 1976. It's the 50th anniversary. I'm turning 50. You just turned 50. And I remember feeling a connection to this movie because it did take place in my birth year, but then also came out when I was a teenager, the proper time to enjoy this movie. What I did not realize until listener Dana in Lexington, Kentucky pointed this out to me is Dazed and Confused is one of those movies that begins with a title card that says a very specific day, last day of school, May 28th.
Wow.
1976. Yesterday was May 28th, 2026. We used a photo and did a mini accidental tribute to Dazed and Confused on the 50th anniversary of the day that picture was being bullied by those kids with paddles.
All I can say is, wow.
Right? Did you know where I was going with that? Had you picked up on that later in the day? Yeah, isn't that cool?
That is really crazy. Again, I know that's not the point of this conversation. It does not push me in the direction of thinking that there is a specific, person in the sky who's ruling everything or whatever, but that is a weird coincidence.
Yeah.
Of all of the days that we could be talking about Dazed and Confused, a movie that I saw in the theater when I was a kid. I think I enjoyed it. I did not enjoy it as much as a lot of people of my generation, which sounds like, I'm trying to be negative and I'm not. It's just like, I thought it was good, but I had a lot of friends who were like obsessed. I know we've talked about it in these terms before. You remember Ben Affleck is in that too, a young Ben
he's
Affleck.
One of the kids in the scene. He's one of the bullies, exactly, yeah.
And Parker Posey, right?
Yep, Parker Posey's
Also
in it.
there.
She says, wipe that. I think it almost feels like a malapropism that they left in. She says, she plays a bully as well, and she says something like, wipe that head off your face, you bee, or something along the lines of that. It always stuck in my head because it's both a cool line, but also I swear she says it wrong. I could be misremembering that though.
I wonder if that was one of those things where, that happened unintentionally and they liked it and they left it in, kind of a thing.
And of course Matthew McConaughey is in it. Who are the other?
Boy,
like,
that
huge
really
names?
launched some careers, huh? Because that was famously, I think that was McConaughey's first role, right? And in fact, I don't know if he even.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I remember hearing a story about his audition for that. I don't think he had ever acted in anything before that.
Oh, because I was even going to ask you. I'm like, do we know for sure that launched his career? Oh, Mila Jovovich was in it too. I forgot about that. But that's right. They have that Texas connection, huh?
Yeah, right. And that's like Richard Linklater, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Sorry, we didn't even say Linklater's name. But yeah, I was thinking about him and how, he's a Texas guy through and through.
Dazed and Confused. What was Matthew McConaughey's first major movie? He achieved his breakthrough. This is not AI, by the way. Okay. It's Wikipedia. It's that old reliable standby Wikipedia, which, as we commented upon, used to feel like sort of unverified and now is literally the written word of God compared to what the AI is trying to do. He achieved his breakthrough with a supporting performance in the coming-of-age comedy Dazed and Confused. I feel like I remember me trying to repeat it from memory is going to be pretty underwhelming for everyone, but I remember hearing him tell a story of getting that gig because, again, I don't think he was really an actor at the time.
He's just vibing.
Really it was. Yeah. I mean, it was essentially like a sort of foreshadowing of what the dude's entire freaking existence would be.
Yeah.
Which was just one long vibe.
Well, maybe that's why he ended up in the movie, right? Because maybe that was his existence before he was existing on camera.
Right. I literally think that was part of it. You know what the story was? It was talking about him in the car about to shoot the scene, and he had never shot a scene before. And it's, of course, a big Hollywood setup, even though Linklater's probably working on a somewhat indie budget. Just still in those days, you got these big old cameras and lights, and probably feels like a lot of pressure. And I forget what exactly it was, but he told a very interesting story about just being in that car and maybe how he delivered the line, just thinking, oh, I think I know who this guy is. Like, I think he invented that sort of, all right, kind of Wooderton vibe, again, which is strikingly similar to his actual vibe, but anyway.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. I bet you heard that on Stern.
Probably not, because as I love to tell you, as I'll tell anyone who will listen, and as I sometimes turn down the radio in my own car to just say aloud to no one, Howard Stern's an awful interviewer.
Oh, that's right. You don't like the celebrity interviews, although it is, he does sometimes.
I love him interviewing Underdog Lady,
right?
Or Wendy the Slow Adult, or any other person in what's called the Whack Pack. He is great at interviewing people who are not celebrities. He is terrible at interviewing celebrities, in my opinion, and it makes me crazy. I'll be literally driving down the road, listening to him interview someone famous, and I'll have to pause the tape to, again, just for my own sense of, not going crazy, out loud say what I'm saying to you right now, which is that he is a very bad interviewer because he is incapable of understanding that anyone else has different experiences than he does. So 80% of his questions to the celebrity are, weren't you mad at your parents that they didn't spend more money on acting lessons for you? And then the person's often going, well, it wasn't really like that. Or didn't you feel so jealous when your friends started to get famous and get booked in movies and you hadn't been booked in? No, I was really happy for them, because those would be his feelings. And so he's asking these questions that are just about how he would have felt, and that's not usually how the other people feel. It just seems like such a simple one. It's just like he asked these very long questions, which is kind of a, sort of interviewing 101. And by the way, a rule that I tend to violate too much as well. But it's like, try to ask a question. Try not to ask 3 questions in the question you're asking, just going on and on. Just little things. And the reason it makes me crazy is because everybody who's on the show, like who works on the show, and everybody who comes on the show is always just like bowing down to him as like literally the greatest interviewer of all time. The reason he gets good interviews, a good outcome, is because everyone who comes on the show is ready to play ball. Like nobody goes on the Howard Stern show thinking, well, this is going to be a straightforward, regular interview. They're like, if you agree to go on that show, you are agreeing to really, really bare your soul, really go with the flow. Like, and so people come on in the exact right frame of mind. And then a good interview ends up happening. But I say in spite of Howard Stern, not because of him.
Well, let me ask you this.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Don't you get jealous when Howard Stern gets all the praise for interviewing these famous people?
You know, not so much that, but I mean, the irony is I think I probably am. Probably am a little jealous.
It's funny. I knew that wasn't your favorite part of the show, but I still thought that you would rather listen to McConaughey. And I think I'm just wrong about this. I misremember. But I thought your attitude was, I'd rather listen to McConaughey probably talk to Stern than
Yes. No, you're right. You're absolutely
Fallon
right.
or something. I mean, that's a extreme
That
example.
rant from me was both incoherent and also misleading.
No, it wasn't
Because
incoherent. I know.
Two of my favorite ways to be. No, you're absolutely right. Like, I would still rather hear these celebrities on Stern rather than somewhere else. It's a really long form interview. They can be there for hours. They really do tend to say interesting stuff. Again, I think just because of the overall environment and the expectation. So it's much better than seeing them on a late night show or seeing them on Comics Unleashed with Byron Allen. By the way, did you see the? Now it's a little unfair because the Colbert finale had a massive tune-in factor, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the drop-off to the next night of Comics Unleashed with Byron Allen was, I want to say it was a 95% drop-off from Colbert Thursday night to Comics Unleashed on Friday night, the new show that's replacing it. And by the way, I was watching our pal Chris Hayes last night on television, and then during Chris's show, I saw an ad for Comics Unleashed on CBS.
Oh.
Now, I don't know if that was something MS Now sold, or I watch Chris's show. I watch MS Now by way of YouTube TV. And I pay like $100 a month or something for YouTube TV. That's how I get my television programs, except the baseball games. And so I don't know who Byron Allen was paying for that ad time, but it was funny to see an ad for, and it was like the clip they were using was just so bad. Just a comedian just clearly doing a very mediocre bit from their stand-up act. And then Byron Allen just like looking absolutely like cracked up by the entire experience, which is, again, that's been that show for however many years it's been going on. It's so thoroughly unimaginative.
You know, I told you that I watched the Colbert on the cable access show that he hosted literally the day after his CBS show was canceled. Only in Monroe was the name of the program that he was hosting. And I told you how I enjoyed it more than anything you would see on a late night, major network late show because of just how weird it was. And also that there's a little bit more edge to his, just not much, but just a little bit more edge, like at the end when they literally just show a burning dumpster at the end of the show. There's some symbology there, but I didn't mention to you, and I don't know if you happen to pick up on this in other media streams, but he did call Byron Allen during the show on his speakerphone. Yeah, which I thought was a nice little touch. Like, it was his way, I think, of like kind of just reinforcing that there's no hard feelings there, that Byron Allen didn't fire him.
Yeah,
and
Byron Allen didn't get him fired.
Exactly. What I kind of liked about it was, and I just wondered how much, like, because again, that show that he did on cable access had the feel of being, incredibly intimate. And they were literally doing it on the set of this cable access show, as we talked about in great detail on Monday. But what struck me, though, also was like when he calls him on his phone, it really does appear that it's just Colbert pulling out his own personal phone, because he flips it open and he's got his credit cards are facing the camera. Now, you only see the very, very tips of the colors of them, and I was sort of thinking, like, they must have taken some extra time to say, well, show us your camera case / wallet and make sure we don't have to Greek anything or whatever the phrase would be in that case. But like, I was just like, but it's all like, I love the way it really just looks like, because at one point he goes to use his phone and he asks, I don't know if it's Siri or whatever. He asks the computer something, and the computer says, "You must unlock me first." He's like, "Oh, okay," and then he does it. Like, it really did seem like they weren't giving him a prop phone for this.
Here's the real question: what got more views? Comics Unleashed with Byron Allen on Friday night, or Only in what was the name of the town again?
Only in Monroe, and it's hard to
Only
count
in
that
Monroe.
because there were just a million bootleg streams on YouTube that CBS kept taking down, even though it had nothing to do with CBS.
I would argue. Well, certainly if you factor in, definitely if you factor in just clicks and I guess views of parts of that, Only in Monroe. I mean, I'm sure it well outpaced.
It must
have. And I'm sure. I mean, the Byron Allen thing. And by the way, that's a good reminder that I need to make sure that I don't transfer my frustration about Colbert being done dirty into just I don't know, hating on Byron Allen. Byron Allen is just like a inoffensive, very rich, pretty savvy media executive, who paid CBS a bunch of money so that he can, rent the time in the late evening on CBS. He didn't do anything wrong. He didn't get Colbert fired. But it's very easy for me to transfer my frustration around the Colbert thing into just a white hot burning annoyance with Byron Allen.
Yeah, which is kind of fair though, because you're mad at the whole situation and what it represents and who appears to be sort of winning is too strong of a word, but who comes out on top after this just absolute. You know what they should do? They should get 60 Minutes to do an investigative piece into what happened with Late
put
Night.
Sharon Alfonsi on that.
I have some bad news for you.
By the way, 85%. That was the ratings drop.
Well, okay, wow.
From Thursday to Friday. And I don't see it. I don't know. I don't see it going up much. I mean, presumably, actually, if you think about it, that should have been the high point for Byron Allen's show, really, because there might be people that didn't know Colbert wasn't on. Can you imagine being the person who watches Colbert sometimes but somehow didn't get the memo?
Yeah.
And you turn it on Friday looking for it. It's not there.
Oh, must be filling in.
Yeah, right. So, presumably that Friday night is the high watermark for Comics Unleashed in the ratings department because you had a curiosity factor. You had maybe some people that just didn't realize there wasn't going to be a Colbert episode. Whatever it is, it's that's the debut. That's going to be what gets the attention. So it's probably only going to be worse from there.
Can I ask you a question? This is a dumb question, I think. But Colbert definitely did a Friday show, right? These late shows don't go Monday through Thursday. That was just a Conan thing?
I think that's just a Fallon thing.
Or a Fallon does Monday through Thursday?
I think NBC only does Monday through Thursday. That was part of that round of belt tightening with all of these shows. Seth Meyers lost his band maybe.
Oh, okay.
So there was no live band for Seth Meyers, and then Jimmy Fallon went to 4 nights. I think Kimmel seems to have. I think maybe he's always been 4 nights. I don't know.
I'm
not
sure. Conan on was it TBS that he was on? I think that was a 4-night deal too. I think maybe was it TBS?
Yes. What happened with that? So he got the late show. I mean, he got the slot from Jay Leno, and then Jay Leno took it back, and then he went to TBS, and he was doing a nightly show on TBS too. Then did it go weekly at some point?
Oh, did it end up dropping to weekly? I don't know.
I feel like I lose track a little bit of this sort of denouement of Conan's TV career.
It originally aired Monday through Thursday at 11 on TBS, and it was just called Conan there. Okay. 11 seasons. I don't know if it ever dropped to once.
11
longer
seasons
than you would
on
think.
TBS?
That's what it says.
That feels like
That's what
new
they told me
Conan
on Ask
to
Jeeves.
me.
Yeah.
The funny part is that feels like, Conan on TBS not wearing a suit but wearing a collared shirt and a tie and a jacket. I was like, that's really new Conan. No, since then he's launched an entirely different media empire that's probably been around for 15 years.
Yeah, right.
Team Coco.
Yeah.
He's on career arc number 7 or 8 and doesn't appear to be slowing down. Did you see he gave the Harvard acceptance speech?
No, did he praise
Harvard,
AI?
I
The graduation
didn't watch
speech?
the whole thing. Yeah, the graduation speech at Harvard.
No, I did not see that, but that's great. That's always a good get, I would think. I mean,
yeah, and I
get
believe
better
he
than
said that he was joining the Trump administration's lawsuit against Harvard, but his was about how uncomfortable the bed was in the dorm that he first bunked in. I also saw Jimmy Kimmel. So Adam Carolla, one time, I don't know if I'd call him friend of the show, but certainly somebody who I really admired back in the day. I was such a fan of his work. And when we went to just being a podcast on the first day of TBTL being a podcast-only product, I believe Adam Carolla was our guest because I think I leaned on our friend Bean Baxter to give me his number or something. But anyway, he got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And, of course, he and Jimmy Kimmel have been friends for years, but their politics have really, really diverged. And, Kimmel's sort of the number one tormentor of the president, and Carolla has definitely become, pretty right-wing.
Has he?
Yeah.
I kind of didn't fully realize that. I would listen to him literally when I was in L.A., which was 10 years ago now. I was listening to a lot of Kevin and Bean, and I was like, oh, yeah, the more I sort of, kind of drift to the left or whatever, Carolla was less and less palatable to me. And I was never a big, that literal man show vibe, that idea of manliness or masculinity has never been my thing. But I remember cringing a little bit when I was in L.A. listening to that. And again, that was 10 years ago. But I thought that he was just sort of like always, I just sort of tell it how it is. He's actually kind of more in line with ideas that you and I would detest.
Yeah, and it's one of those, again, it's been a drift for him as well. I was never into the Man Show. I never understood the appeal of that. What I loved was Loveline.
Yeah.
And first it was the TV show version on MTV that I would watch with him and Dr. Drew. And then I realized, oh, no, this is actually a radio show. And so I got really obsessed with the radio show because it was, I thought it was great. It was call-in radio for 2 hours late at night with an addiction medicine specialist and a wisecracking former roofer.
Yeah.
So it was very much for me.
And somebody and people calling in to tell like kind of secrets and the titillation factor. You got to acknowledge that. Like, yeah,
it
that's
was
cool.
such a great radio show, I thought. But yeah, so what it started with him just being kind of like, look, I just call it as I see it, and can everybody just stop with the fill in the blank? But then what tends to happen is, as the sort of polite society or the kind of more left society starts to like call you out online or whatever, you're going to go towards the group of people that are more embracing you. And so that's the Greg Gutfelds of the world, the kind of Fox News, having Carolla on. Dennis Prager, he's really big with this guy, Dennis Prager, who's like I don't even know how I would describe him, as like a conservative talk radio host, but also kind of thinks of himself as being quite the scholar and has something called like Prager University. So they would go around doing these presentations that were supposed to be, I have a feeling they're like, pitched as like, well, here's what the Constitution really says about this. Or I don't know, just like trying to somehow like formalize or make academic what is basically a political argument.
Yeah, and talk down to you. Who was the king of that? They called him like the professor or something like that. Not
you don't mean Tom Likas?
No, Limbaugh was
his nickname was the professor.
Oh, then maybe it wasn't the professor, but there was he was like the biggest name in right-wing television in the Fox News era of more like 20 years ago now.
Oh, Bill O'Reilly.
O'Reilly. He was always like that. Like,
he was always writing these like history books like Killing Lincoln and stuff.
Yeah, and he had 8 easy steps to kill your Lincoln. No, but he had a section on his
to get a loofah.
Yeah, and he had he would be like, I am presenting this to you in this scholarly way, and he had a section on it or a segment on his TV show that was very much like the academic corner or something like that. Yeah. Ew.
Well, anyway, Adam Carolla got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and Jimmy Kimmel was the one who sort of like did the speech, and which was great. I mean, because he said, look, we have been friends for years. Our politics do not align at all, but I love Adam. I'm so proud of him. And of course, because he's Jimmy Kimmel, he gets choked up talking about his buddy, but then he just proceeds to just roast Adam Carolla. He goes, the irony is Adam has been shitting on California for years. He's been threatening to leave this state. When he said he was waiting until his kids would graduate high school to leave the state of California. His kids are in their 30s now. And he's just absolutely roasting Carolla as he's getting his star on the Hollywood. He goes, I'm just so proud of you for getting the star in front of this on Hollywood Boulevard, in front of this bombed out bank that hasn't been here for 12 years. Because I know this well. I stay in this part of LA a lot. It's like Hollywood is really the end of the rainbow. It's like, it's pretty, the idea that like the Walk of Fame, your star could be next to a vape shop.
Yeah. Especially now they're expanding further and further out. And of course, there is the consideration of, your fame as to where your star ends up, right?
Yeah, but I guess I do like that they're still friends. I wish Adam Carolla's politics were a bit different. obviously. I like that they're still friends through that, and I like also that Jimmy Kimmel's making fun of him as getting a star.
We was hoping for some razzle-dazzle.
Razzle-dazzle.
That's right, man. Razzle-dazzle.
On your mark.
On your mark.
Get set.
Get set.
Now ready.
Ready. Go.
Everybody razzle dazzle.
All right, let's thank some dazzling donors until we get our stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
You don't have one yet?
I etched my name over Lorna Luft. I felt like it was the easiest one to do.
Who's Lorna Luft?
Some old 20s Hollywood star, I think, that came to mind. I don't even know if she has a star on there. We don't have that sweet, sweet Hollywood Walk of Fame money, so we have to rely on donors. And thank goodness we've got them. We've got folks like Amy and Brett in Seattle, Washington. No last name?
Was this on me?
I don't know.
That's a good.
I've got Amy and Brett, pronounced Amy and Brett.
Yeah, I don't.
She and him, respectively. We know a lot about their pronouns.
Yeah.
And the pronunciation.
But no, I don't know. I think it's
maybe they're like, Sonny and Cher. Maybe they're just first name people, and I love that for them.
I want to talk to you about some of your songs, like the one about Native Americans and the one about the Roma people. Doesn't Cher have like actually 2 songs that you're kind of like, ooh, those didn't?
I'd never thought about that. Yeah, I think she has one that's like Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves, and one called like Half Breed. I wonder what's wrong with Half Breed. Can't think of anything wrong with
I like the way
a song with a name like that.
I was gently trying to reference it. But I do think that those are the songs. I think you're right. I had forgotten that. I didn't. Oh my goodness gracious!
It's funny because
somehow worse than I remember.
I don't remember. I don't have strong feelings one way or the other on Cher, but I don't have her in my mind as like, oh yeah, that artist who did all of that regrettable stuff. I don't think of her the way I think of like Al Jolson or somebody who's doing say blackface, but that's pretty bad. Bad.
Yeah, I don't know why my brain just went there. I'm sorry. I think I was just trying to keep the proverbial hack. I like the way we've been talking about the proverbial hacky sack on the show, the conversational hacky sack for years. And now hacky sacking, as you pointed out, is back in the culture, and we might be literally and figuratively hacky sacking soon.
Absolutely. Can't wait to do that for the Thon this year. Speaking of the Thon, that's how we get folks to do a dazzling donation of dough like Amy and Brett, no last name, are doing. They say, hey, gang, thank you for another year of excellent daily content. For our ears, my wife and TBTL progenitor, Amy, and I were delighted that we could go dazzling again this year with our 5s, Rockwell, he of the Murder, She Wrote piano playing, and his brother Mac, of all things, D&D. These are our U District 10
exactly.
Friends, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Support your local movie enterprise. For us in Seattle, we are members of SIF, as well as the Grand Illusion Cinema, who are moving and having pop-ups until they find their new home. GrandIllusionCinema.org. Some of my very favorite movie-going experiences in my life, Andrew, were at the Grand Illusion Cinema.
I regret never going to their old space. I pass it all the time and always thought, when is the day you're going to darken that door?
Yeah, it was a very cool thing. But they're still, they're still doing stuff. They're still doing pop-ups. So if you like, cinema, interesting cinema, and interesting people, playing interesting cinema for folks, definitely check out GrandIllusionCinema.org. Or do you love physical media like we do? Scarecrow Video is still out in these streets as a nonprofit with Ken Jennings on the board. Ken Jennings and I went to Scarecrow to film some B-roll for my TV story about him. I don't know if we used it or not, but I know I ended up buying like 4 or 5 DVDs.
Did you?
Because, I can't be around cool DVDs like the original Odd Couple, which I believe was one of the DVDs I bought, Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau.
And when you say bought, they were ones that they had rented out, so they were used, and you were buying the used media, or do they sell new media there?
They sell new as well.
Oh,
in fact, you know what? I should know this. If it's mostly rental or mostly new media these days there, I don't know. I bought some.
Well, it's a big rental place. Vive's up
nice.
until recently was renting a lot of stuff from there. Because she was watching that war movie podcast that Roderick and the boys
Speaking
would host.
of Ken Jennings, well, he's not. Ken Jennings isn't on that one, but
he's on the Roderick
as well.
other one, or used to. Now it's just Roderick and a rotating group of people, including one of our listeners. Did we talk about that? Yeah. Remember we were talking about Paul/Saul from Britain the other
England?
day. Yeah, we were like, is he still listening to the show? He wrote back to us and said, yeah, I'm still listening. And by the way, I was Roderick's co-host on Omnibus recently. Yeah.
On Omnibus?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because
How
remember, because
cool.
Ken Jen isn't hosting Omnibus anymore.
I didn't realize that.
And
he's
so,
got a pretty busy schedule with the JEP, I guess.
Yeah, so for the past year or so, I remember somebody saying, hey, you guys should connect with Roderick or something and get on that show, which I did full court press on. You know me well, Luke. I was like, Roderick, I am your man. I want to be.
You said, I'll be your Huckleberry.
I said, I want to be more exposed. And so, anyway, no, but so I did know that he was sort of like inviting people on to host, but I did not know one of our long time listeners was
Good for
a
Paul.
guest. Yeah.
That's really awesome. Back to Scarecrow. Scarecrow is out in these streets as a nonprofit, slanging tapes and DVDs and Blu-rays and Laserdiscs by mail as well. So you don't have to live in Seattle to get stuff from Scarecrow Video, which, by the way, we just assumed everyone knew what we were talking about. It's a very cool place in Seattle that has for rent and sale DVDs and things like that has been around forever and ever and has almost always been like about to close for the last 20 years and has always somehow been saved at the last minute because there's so much community love and appreciation. It's scarecrow.org if you'd like to check them out and you're not in the Seattle area. What you do is so important. Your U District 10s, Amy and Brett, senior Neti Pot correspondent.
Nice. I
got to get back into that. My allergies have been really flaring up in the last couple of weeks, and the sweet cleansing properties of a little saline water and a Neti Pot. That's a great. Have you done that? Have we talked about that?
No,
I know
that
we talked about
doesn't-
Neti Pots, but
yeah.
you've never actually done.
We talked
the
about it
thing.
a lot, and I believe that's how Brett earned his.
Stripes?
I guess, did he earn it? His self-appointed senior Neti Pot correspondent title. But
I'll accept it.
Yeah, I totally accept it. I mean, if the check cashes, I'll accept anything, Luke. Absolutely. But that does
Grass,
not.
gas, or ass. Nobody writes for free. That's what Andrew always says off air to me right before we start the show.
I'm not a bumper sticker kind of guy, but there would be something so hilarious if that was the one bumper sticker on my car, because I do think it's so funny in like a kind of a dazed and confused, like just antiquated
that's very
kind
dazed
of
and
way.
confused.
There's also a bumper sticker on an old van kind of in my neighborhood that I pass all the time. That's on the way to SARS. It's on the way to the Twisted Tea District. It says, Earth first. We'll destroy the other planets later. And I just think it's such a good bumper sticker because it really looks like it's from like 1983, as is the van, sort of. I don't know where to. Oh, but anyway, yeah, no, Neti Pots doesn't appeal to me. The thought of like sort of waterboarding myself in that way does not sound.
Man,
great.
it's so soothing. Once you get over the waterboarding factor, it is just the best feeling to really fully clean everything out. Anyway, thank you, Amy and Brett and the kids. We appreciate you. Maestro?
On your mark.
On your mark.
Get set.
Get set.
Now ready.
Ready. Go.
Everybody ready.
Can I tell you about another bumper sticker that lives very nearby that bumper sticker, which I guess is problematic because I took a photo of it and I posted it to Instagram. And I gotta say, it made me laugh, but I guess context is everything. It's on the back of like a really old, like I'm gonna say 1980s era red pickup truck that has seen better days. You know, it's not totally dilapidated, but it's just like a truck, like the kind of trucks I grew up with out in the country. And it's got a bumper sticker that says, it's called tourist season, but we still can't shoot them, or something like that. And I see that, and that to me is just like, and maybe it's just my generation and where I grew up, but like it didn't occur to me that would be problematic until I took a photo of it and put it on Instagram, and at least several people were kind of like, that's not, you know, that they weren't criticizing me, but just being like, oh, that's not cool, assuming that I was putting it up there in sort of a critical way when I just thought it was sort of funny.
I mean, I don't know. It just seems to me like nobody's advocating for the hunting of tourists.
Obviously,
like I feel like
right.
I feel like that's an okay joke. Like we did that doesn't seem like a real threat.
I'm not putting it on my truck from the 80s though.
You know who we're thanking right now? It's our friend Colleen Peterson in St. Paul, Minnesota.
Oh, Colleen, another
Colleen
very
has been
recognizable name.
Around the show and a friend of the show for years and years and years and years and years. Colleen says, how do you do, fellow tens? It's been a tough year with science and public health gutted. ICE losing one of our pups to cancer and whatever has probably happened in the last few days. So Colleen understanding that by the time this gets to us and gets read on the air, God knows what will have happened. Practicing gratitude has helped me through this darkest of timelines, so here goes. Number 1, I'm grateful to Marsupial Gurgle for enabling me to use Andrew's "oh shit, things are hard" drop as an alarm sound.
Oh, geez.
Colleen, I guess whatever is working for you, but that would just stress me out so much more. And peace and love, Andrew.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody saying, "oh shit, things are hard," but maybe it's one of those things that well, let's see. Colleen says, it makes whatever I have to do feel a lot more manageable. I was going to say maybe it's one of the things that gets you out of bed because you've got to cross the room to your phone and get you to stop having Andrew saying things are hard.
I'm looking for this drop. I think you have it, right?
I have it.
But the weird thing is when I type in "oh shit," you'd be shocked at how many times I utter that word on the show. There's just drop after drop after drop.
Oh shit, things are hard.
He whoa.
Well,
I had to grab it quickly, so it's got 45 drops behind it.
No, I appreciate it.
Colleen says, like this podcart and community, it reminds me that we're in this together and we can do hard things. Number 2, I'm grateful to all Minnesotans showing, as John Green said, we don't need a them to be a strong us. I see. We don't need a them to be a strong us. In other words, defining our in-group by making someone else the out-group is not necessary. I was actually listening to a really interesting interview that Ezra Klein did this week with the guy that wrote that book, Sapiens. And he's a thinker on a lot of things, but he was talking about the idea of nationalism and how basically nationalism has been really kind of corrupted in this country and other places because instead of the idea of nationalism being a good thing, he was saying, look, the nationalism when it's positive is pretty cool because what it says is I care about everybody in this country, even though I will never meet 99% of them. Most people, we're talking Longview, 40,000 people, I will not meet most of them. But I also would like my taxes to help people who are unhoused or who need medical care or whatever. Like I have a sense of like being in it with people in this country because we're Americans. We're all in this together. And that's the positive side. And you don't actually by necessity have to hate people who are outside the country to love people who are inside the country. And unfortunately, we have it totally inverted where it's about hating everyone else as the way of bonding with the people that you are sticking up for in your mind. And it doesn't have to be that way, right?
But I guess for me, I guess I never understood though but why would I care about somebody in, let's just say, South Carolina who's suffering more than I would care about somebody who's in Nepal suffering? You know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't I feel the same and want the best for them, no matter whether or not they were in my particular border or not?
I mean, I guess you're right. I guess that's a point. I mean, that raises the question, like, should we have a country then? Well,
I think there are practical reasons. You're right. Like, you can't have. I mean, as much as all of our Facebook uncles want to warn us about it, we can't have one world tax. I assume that would be pretty hard to. That'd be pretty hard to manage.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that does operate from the premise that it's good to have a nation for some reason.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's a difference between having a nation and nationalism, I think. I'm not arguing to eliminate all borders and have one world government. I believe that is Alaska's catchphrase, not mine, right? Fly Alaska, one world government, new world order. What is their thing?
The One World Alliance.
The One World Alliance. There, we got there. But, I mean, there's practical reasons why you need local government, why you need state government, why you need, regional and national government. But the idea of nationalism, the idea of feeling like sort of, I think of nationalism more as being, and again, whoever you're quoting obviously is more than a million times smarter than me. I'm just reacting to how I think about it to maybe get to find out why I'm wrong. But to me, nationalism has always been more associated with sort of the symbols of your particular country or nation, the flag, the eagle, these things that we rally around that to me don't mean as much.
Right. I think the word has been very corrupted and in our lifetime it's never been used in a way that wasn't sort of describing that behavior. I guess what I would say is it is harder for me I'm not saying it should be, but it is harder for me to consider on a daily basis the needs of someone in Nepal versus the needs of someone even in South Carolina. And so to the degree that my behaviors, I mean, yes, if I was a better world citizen, I would think about it all equally. But I do think about the priority of an American who is suffering to some degree, again, maybe not intentionally, but just reflexively. So I guess the argument could be, if realistically people are not going to be able to hold the entire world in their heart, at least they could hold the people in the place they're from in their heart in the interest of trying to help people who need help. Maybe that could be an argument for it, that the global one is hard for people to maintain, but maybe the one that is based around a nation could be maintained. But again, the problem is it goes sideways pretty quickly when you're doing that. So the thing that John Green says that's in Colleen's message, we don't need a them to be a strong us. As ICE's damage continue to reverberate, consider funding good work at standwithminnesota.com. Number 3, I am so grateful to my friend and newly minted 10, Renee.
Heck yeah.
Renee, welcome. I assume Renee has started listening in the last, 15 years?
Yeah, right.
Newly minted 10.
Right, missed the radio
Renee
days.
started listening in 1986. For all her kindness, especially the cross stitch she made.
Oh, nice.
On a lighter note, could you explain the origin of the drop trees? They're all around us.
Oh, yeah.
But who gives a bleep, Andrew?
Yeah, sorry I did not read ahead in there, so I don't have it in front of me, but I can play it. You got it right there. This is from, should I play the beeped version? Have we already, we've already sworn once, right, on this show? So
I said ass.
Okay, well, let's just do the
trees. They're all around us, but who gives a shit?
That is from, it makes me laugh so hard. I don't usually pull drops that have just a blatant curse word in it, but that's just from The Onion. It was from some sort of Onion TV feature, or it might have been Clickhole, but I'm pretty sure it was like Onion TV, and it was some news report about trees. They're all around us.
Trees. They're all around us, but who gives a shit?
It's also funny hearing the beep in it as well. I don't even know which is my favorite.
I'm pretty excited. I've been telling you this off air, Andrew. I don't know if I've mentioned it on air yet, but speaking of The Onion, I'm going to be doing a TV story about The Onion's takeover of InfoWars.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm going to be in a couple of weeks going down to interview Tim Heidecker about that, and I guess maybe watch them do Office Hours Live. And I already feel myself, this is going to be weeks of content, because I am not usually nervous about who I'm going to talk to, or already like in my head about what my vibe is going to be. And I am deeply in my head about what my vibe is going to be, because I'm just such an admirer of Tim Heidecker's comedy over the years. And
you're an admirer, but he's also, I feel like you have some kind of confusion about what the real Heidecker is. There's been a conversation on the show for years and years with, and so I think that adds a layer to this that is especially interesting, because I think you're a fan of his, but you're also in awe of him, and I think you're also just a little bit confused by like where the real Heidecker begins and where some of these characters end.
Yeah, and he's been doing more interviews where he's just being himself, and I've been watching them to try to get a sense of what his actual vibe is, because again, he plays so many characters that are so, in ways, nuanced, where you're kind of not sure, how much is the joke, how much is just really him. Again, that show Office Hours Live, which I pretty much see a clip of that, almost every day. I don't watch the entire show, but I watch a lot of it in clip form. But anyway, so yeah, The Onion. I'm going to be, and we're going to meet the guy who is the CEO of The Onion too and stuff. So I'm kind of excited about that. But anyway,
can I play one more piece of tape? I think Colleen would like to hear this, because it just sort of seems like this is going to be in the spirit of what some of the things she's hitting on here in gratitude. I looked up trees in my audio file, and I had 3 files. One that says trees bleeped, one that says trees unbleeped, and then a 1-minute file that I grabbed from the podcast The Slowdown. Do you remember the podcast The Slowdown?
Who can forget?
It was
where all our advertising money went.
That's right. Did they do a lot of cross promotions for TBTL? I can't remember. I know we promoted them on American Public Media. Anyway, I can't remember what era this was, and I don't think this was an actual poem on The Slowdown. The Slowdown was a short form podcast. I don't know if it's still around or not. Produced by American Public Media in partnership with some other groups, and I think the Library Association, or not not library, but Poetry Association. And anyway, I remember there was this
Poetry
1
Foundation,
minute
maybe?
foundation. That's what it was. And there was something that somebody, I believe the host was talking about trees. This was like the introduction, I believe, to the poem they were about to read. And I believe that this is from many years ago. And I just see it here, and I'm curious, and I think, I mean, this could be a total mistake, me playing this, but let's give it 60 seconds of our time.
Some experts, like German forester Peter Wohlleben, believe that trees have intelligence, emotions, and even ways of communicating that are more like ours than you might expect. Listen to this description of tree life from an article about Wohlleben research that appeared last spring in Smithsonian Magazine. Wise old mother trees feed their saplings with liquid sugar and warn the neighbors when danger approaches. Reckless youngsters take foolhardy risks with leaf shedding, light chasing, and excessive drinking, and usually pay with their lives. Crown princes wait for the old monarchs to fall so they can take their place in the full glory of sunlight. It's all happening in the ultra-slow motion that is tree time, so that what we see is a freeze frame of the action.
I still love that.
Did you pull that just so you would have it? Did we play it on this show?
I don't know if I ever played that before. I think it just
beautiful.
I think it just really spoke to me somehow, or it didn't even really speak to me. I think it just like made me think about. I think it just made me think in a way I'd never thought before.
Absolutely. If we're doing tree poetry, can I just read you one real quick?
Oh,
from Mary
yes.
Oliver?
I'm so glad that you have something. Thank you, because I felt embarrassed playing that. I thought you were going to be over there being like, what the hell are we doing?
No, you saw me leave the frame. I was pulling. I have this poem by Mary Oliver pinned up in the studio.
Okay, yeah, what you got?
When I Am Among the Trees by Mary Oliver. When I am among the trees, especially the willows and the honey locust, equally the beech, the oaks, and the pines, they give off such hints of gladness. I would almost say that they save me, and daily. I am so distant from the hope of myself, in which...
As soon as you said you were going to read a poem, I was ready.
I knew this was going to go bad.
Like, oh, buddy.
Why am I
buddy,
doing
what
this?
are you doing?
I am so distant from the hope of myself, in which I have goodness and discernment, and never hurry through the world, and walk slowly and bow often. Around me the trees stir in their leaves and call out, "Stay a while." The light flows from their branches, and they call again. It's simple, they say, and you too have come into the world. You too have come into the world to do this, to go easy, to be filled with light, and to shine. Big weekend plans?
Big weekend.
God.
The biggest one I've ever had.
In what
Big
universe did I
weekend.
think I was going to get through
you
that
grabbed
poem?
that, and by the way, it's like it's not even really a printout. It's like it looks like a photocopy of a book of poetry or something.
It's so like yellowed by time.
Do you know the irony of you saying "big weekend"? I was like, if he asks me this, I think the only thing I'm going to be. This is a true story. Starting the show today, I guess my only big weekend plans are trimming the hedges. I'm sorry, trees. We just gave a tearful tribute to trees, and my big weekend plans are going to be taking a saw to them. But they need it to grow.
They need it, exactly. That's good for them. I mean, the irony, too, is that this all started because we played the Onion Drop Trees. They're all around, but who gives a shit? And it turns out me a lot to too much.
Oh man! Well, thank you,
Well,
Colleen.
Sorry,
for your
everybody. That was a
donation.
little more emotionally intense than we needed it to be. Again, I have only myself to blame. Like, I know how I am. I'm not going to be able to read that poem and not get the way that I got. But my big weekend.
Remember, I told you that I think it was a little bit, not a big deal, but it was a little deal on this show. I think that I was going to read a poem at my friend's wedding.
Oh, yeah.
Two friends of mine
Right.
got married a couple of
Yeah.
years ago, and it was right after COVID, or it was really at the tail end of COVID, but it was enough that you could have a wedding, a proper wedding.
Wasn't
but I
it
remember we were
over in,
masked
like,
up and
Vermont
stuff.
or something?
No, this was right here in Ballard, and it was a beautiful,
kind of the
beautiful
Vermont of
wedding.
Seattle.
Yeah. I wouldn't argue that. Anyway, and I read this poem, and the poem was like, it was about love, as you might expect at a wedding. And I practiced it, and it was a beautiful poem. I was nervous just about getting up in front of people and reading this. And I think what happened was I was so nervous. I think I was worried about getting emotional reading it, if I recall. But what happened was it was a kind of an emotional poem, but also I was so nervous, and I was trying to read it in a calm voice, but it was so herky-jerky in my reading of it. And I think that everybody assembled at the small outdoor wedding thought I was getting very emotional about it, but I was actually just very nervous about it, and it was kind of speaking very slowly and deliberately, but haltingly, I think. And it's not the best memory for me. It was one of those times where I got so nervous that I had a real bad stomachache afterwards, and I was trying to socialize with people.
I remember that part of the story.
And I remember like trying to socialize, but also not bring up the fact that I read this poem while I'm meeting new people. And all these people are all younger and way more beautiful than me and everything. And anyway, I have a fond memory. That was one of the last weddings I went to. It was an incredibly beautiful wedding, incredibly beautiful. And I will tell you this. My friend's marriage did not last 1 year. And it was a real bummer because they'd been together almost their entire lives until they got married. And I don't think they would ever hear this. But it bums me out that I embarrassed myself for a marriage that didn't last an entire year. It is such...
I thought you were going to say... The reading of the poem or the less than stellar reading may have been what led the marriage to not work.
It is such an incredibly selfish take by me. It is so unbelievably selfish because I love both of these people very much, and I loved their relationship together, and I still care about both of them very, very much. But there is a little piece of me that when I think about me literally trembling, holding this sheet of paper in front of an assembled group of really cool, really beautiful people who most of whom I do not know, and feeling the way I felt during and after, and being like, you could make it a year, like just 1 year for my efforts. Come on.
It's funny because sometimes people will be like, wow, I got them a really nice gift, and when the marriage doesn't last, it's like, I wonder who got that food processor that I was strong-armed into buying. You don't care about that. You just, why did I have to read a poem in public?
Yes, exactly. Totally. And I don't want to say too much about my friend's personal situation, but let's just say that I don't think the fault
here was... Are you saying that for my third marriage, you're not up for reading a poem?
Oh, I'll read a poem. I'll read any limerick you give me.
Well, my weekend plans are, first tonight I've got to do Livewire at the Reeser, and then I have to get up at like the crack of dawn tomorrow to fly to Las Vegas, where I'll be doing interviews at this thing called CrimeCon, which is like a get-together of true crime. I'm trying not to call them enthusiasts because maybe they're interested in it, and I think part of the whole story is like, why would you be interested in these kind of sad stories of things? And the more people that I'm interviewing about it, the more they're like, well, that's actually not. I don't get excited about bad things happening to people. I'm interested in it because I don't want it to happen to me, or because I want to try to help solve some of these unsolved things or whatever. But I'm going to be in Las Vegas this weekend doing that, and then I'm going to Houston because I'm working on a TV story about Viet Cajun cooking, which is kind of a fusion that started here in the States between Vietnamese food and Cajun cooking down in like Louisiana and Houston and places like that. So I'm going to be eating good in the neighborhood next week, although I think I'm going to have to very much relax my no eating animals status. I have a feeling that the food that's going to be put in front of me is going to... Well, it's a lot of actually seafood. It's a lot of shrimp and stuff. So maybe I'll be able to mostly stay off of the red meats. But anyway, we'll see.
Hey,
about
shrimp
that.
have
Anyway,
feelings.
That's my plan. What's that?
I said shrimp have feelings.
They do. They do, as my buddy Wes will never let me forget.
It was just so funny when you said, Wes wrote to me the other day, yeah, what do you want to say? That shrimp have feelings? Yeah. I'm not laughing at him or you or the shrimp or anybody. It was just a funny exchange that sort of lives in my head a little bit.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I was like, dang it, Wes, let me have the shrimp, please. But I don't know.
All right, well, let's get out of here then.
All right, Lee. That's going to do it for today's episode, and that's going to bring us to the end of our broadcast week. Sorry we didn't get to the Youth of America umpires. Maybe we'll talk about that on Monday. And I know we've also got a voicemail from listener Lisa about some legal trubs that we want to get to on Monday, hopefully, as well.
Yeah.
So Thank you, everyone, for spending this time with us this week. We really appreciate it. We will be back here on Monday with more Imaginary Radio for all of you. I will be in, I think, Las Vegas still, so we'll be checking in from there. In the meantime, have a great Friday, everybody. Take care of yourselves. And please remember, no mountain too tall.
And good luck to all.
Power out.